Hey guys, it's Gail with popculture.com, and we are here with the super talented Chris Daughtry. Chris, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about all the things.
All the things. Let's do it.
Start with music. As You Are, what a powerful and vulnerable song. Talk about it.
Yeah, wrote it with my wife, which was like a new thing for me. Before that, I was the one who wrote the songs in the family.
He does a really good job writing songs.
I do decent. But she had, like, little known fact, she always wanted to be a lyricist growing up, and and didn't really pursue it. And then one day kind of slipped these under me and was like, hey, if you feel inspired to do something with this, feel free.
Wait, you were married for 20 years?
It'll be 19 in November.
And
yeah.
She just came to you with lyrics recently?
No, she had done it before.
You still listen to them?
She tried it before, and I kind of shut it down.
Okay.
Not verbally, but just kind of like dismissed it a little bit.
Okay.
And I think it kind of maybe shut her down a little bit. So this next round, the sequel, when she did it again, I was like, I'm gonna pay attention this time.
And when you
I learned my lesson.
When you saw it, what did you think? When you saw these honest and open lyrics, what did you think?
It felt real. It felt, like you said, vulnerable, and it felt like there was some real stuff going on there, and it inspired me, and I instantly started hearing melodies in my head and went to work on it. And
your video showcases your whole incredibly beautiful family.
That was completely off the cuff. That was
really?
Unplanned. The video was planned. Them just wandering in the shot was kind of the director just letting it happen, and didn't stop any of them. And one started it, and then they just kind of, and they looked, which is why they look so natural on camera, because they weren't trying to be in a video or act or anything. They saw me working and just kind of wandered in.
That end scene, I think it's your little boy that whispers in your ear that he says, I love you, that slays me.
I actually think he said something a little more devious than that.
Okay, well, I thought it was I love you.
No, I think he did say that. But yeah, that was one of the first shots of the video, and we ended up wrapping it up with it.
When you announced this song, when you talked about this song, you also shared some very vulnerable details about both of you, with your wife's orientation and then some mistakes you made early in your career. Yeah. Most celebrities try to hide their personal life, and you were like, here we are. Talk about deciding to do that.
I think you live long enough keeping things away from people and feeling, I don't know, this sense of inauthenticity, and feeling like when people oh, you're such a good family man, or you're such a good this, and you're like, if you only knew. And you start to kind of just be at peace with that, and just the best thing to do is just put it all out there.
Were you terrified?
No.
Really?
No, because it was something that we had dealt with together.
Okay.
And had moved past. But at the same time, it was like, okay, just in case you think this is all perfect, and it's been perfect this whole time, I'm here to prove you wrong.
What was your fan response to that?
The fan response?
When you kind of bared it all for everyone?
Inspired. I think it made them feel more connected, just in feeling like they know me more, or feeling like, oh, he's being real. He's not trying to put on this facade that many people think that this, because of where I came from, they have this idea of what our life is like, and what we're like as a couple. And I think it just gets old hearing all the wrong interpretations of or ideas of, that people create in their head. And so it was like, you know what? Psych.
Well, I loved it.
Yeah.
You went from pretty much not anybody knowing who you were, being a local musician, to everybody knowing who you were pretty quickly when you were on Idol. What was that experience like of suddenly being a household name, more or less? How did that change you?
I don't know if I had a lot of time to really process it. It was just, it was this, catapult into, there was no obscurity anymore. There was no anonymity. It was like you couldn't. For like 2 or 3 years, I couldn't go anywhere without people coming up to the table while we're eating, and I think it made it a little worse because they felt that they had something to do with that. So it was almost like, you owe me.
Oh, wow.
And there was a lot of that attitude behind it at first, and I think that was one of the hardest things to deal with, was that feeling of like they feel like they can intrude or even slightly be rude at times because I owed that to them. That was the hardest part to deal with. It wasn't the fact that people knew who I was. I kind of relished in that, growing up wanting to be a rock star, and I had the idea of what that was like, and so the attention wasn't the issue. It was kind of the attitude behind it.
Especially when you're out with your family.
Yeah.
Because your kids, I'm sure, did.
Yeah, and they're like, what the hell's going on here? Like, who are all these people like taking you from me?
Would you do it again?
Yeah, absolutely.
What are your thoughts on reality?
I mean, I'm glad I don't have to, but.
Do you think it's a good platform? American Idol, The Voice, there's all of them now. Is it a good platform, or do you wish there would be another way?
I think that would be a blanket statement to say either or. I think each scenario for each person is different. The same thing that happened to me didn't happen to everyone else who came in fourth.
Sure.
Or everyone else who won. I don't think it's like if you do this, that here we are. You get your face on a TV and get to talk about yourself over and over. But I think each person's destiny is unique, and how you get there is unique. I don't know if I would have ever made it the traditional way, being discovered in a club. But I also think that there's people that go on those shows that people never hear about again either. So I think I think it's a combination of a lot of things. It's the exposure, it's how much work you put into it afterwards, and that's one thing that I did. Like right afterwards, I went straight to work, and I was, busting my ass every day, writing songs, and I think a lot of times, I'm not saying everyone, but I have seen how it's easy to fall into the trappings of thinking that this all makes itself work. Just because you were on TV, everything's going to fall in my lap now, and I think that's where a lot of people fall short. And
you did work really hard.
Yeah.
You had some hit songs, but you were also out there all the time.
I feel like I'm never not out there.
Yeah.
Like we tour so much, but it's also like, it's how we survive,
Sure.
This ever-changing landscape of a music industry,
How do you tour? We just talked about that you're almost done with your tour for this year, and you'll go back out next year, I'm sure. You have 5 children. Do they go out with you?
2 of them are adults.
Lord.
No, we've dabbled in that a little bit, and it's just, I'm from one place to the next. It's not like we're in Orlando for 4 days, so you can go have fun at Disney while we're working or whatever. That's a rare occasion when it's something that makes sense for them to be out and actually feel like they're getting to experience life outside of my crazy schedule. So, we don't really, we kind of keep that separate.
New music coming next year?
Oh yeah, we're already working on some new stuff right now. I can't sit still. Yeah.
Can you tell us anything about it?
It's very, very guitar driven at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like rock has to come back at some point.
You do kind of bend genres. I mean, you've been on several different charts,
Yeah.
including Christian, country, pop. I mean.
Yeah, I don't even know how that works. I guess people play what they want to play, but I've always felt like I kind of did roughly the same thing with the occasional change in production. But yeah, I feel like this next stuff is definitely more rock driven.
And then you'll come back and talk to us about it.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm like right down the street.
Okay, he's going to come back.
Yeah.
For more on Chris and all your other favorite artists, please visit popculture.com.